I got my ticket for the long way round. 2 bottle whiskey for the way. And I sure would like some sweet company. And I'm leaving tomorrow, what do you say?
All right. Well, this is part of our order processing center, and Tiffany is our customer service agent. Is in charge of bringing in all our orders on a daily basis. And as you can see, we've got some orders up on the screen right now. And the process is fairly simple. We can bring in the orders anywhere from a 3D cart type site, or we use ARI currently. And what we do is there's an interface, web interface that's been created, and we request that the particular interface, whether it's ARI or it's 3D cart, we select it, and it brings in, it tells you how many orders we have pending, and it asks you if you want to bring them in. And we go ahead and do that. Now, the different colors, there's a legend that tells you that the darker color, what is it, pink? Oh, it's a pink. The pink color has items on the order that need review. So what we do is we go in here to the magnifying glass. You want to click on there? All right. Awesome. And what happens is that the item that needs review will be highlighted in yellow, so it pops and easy to get to. In this particular case, what it's showing is that this particular item here, the 99-0516, it's a K&N air filter. And more than likely is that item is not entered in our system. All right. So what we can do with an item like this is I will open up a Lizzy window, or she can close this and go ahead and add the item to the Lizzy system, to our web base, or not our web base, but our operating system, and then she'll be able to download the order without any issues. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this one here, and let's go ahead and select one of the ones that are not highlighted. Go ahead and hit the magnifying glass. All right, so this order here is one that's ready to go. Now, we have the option of taking a look at it or approving the order right off the bat. And we've gotten to the stage where we feel very comfortable with approving the order. All right, so what we'll do is that we don't usually go into this unless we've set a dollar value to cover ourselves for freight. Some items that are larger in diameter or weight will incur a higher cost of shipping. So what we do is that we always take a look at items, anything that's over $250. We start looking at those items to see if we're going to incur any hits on freight. So in this particular case, okay, so close there, and let's go ahead and bring the order over. Go ahead and approve it. So it brings up the invoice, so we can see the invoice. And in our particular case, we'll go ahead and go to pay the invoice, and then we'll select. It tells us, actually, I don't know if you can see it from there, but there's we have under web order notes. It'll tell us how the customer paid. So in this particular case, the customer paid with a Visa card, and we have an icon that we click on. Okay, and we go ahead and uncheck the box that says that we are not going to use Lizzy to process this transaction, because we've already taken the funds off of our site through our web card. Okay, we hit process, and the order's in our system here in just a second. It's done. Okay. All right, so there's 3 steps that we go through. In actuality, it's really 2. Once we bring the order in, we can go ahead right to pay. We feel very comfortable after using it for the number of months that we've been on. We've been on since February. That the program, that we have very good control on what's happening with what we're bringing in. So we go ahead and I would probably say that if we have a day where we have 110, 120 orders, we could probably do this within a half hour, 45 minutes of one person. We got 2 people doing it. It's very fast. It's a very quick process. As you can see, she's continuing to work as I speak, and it flows very quickly. Okay. Now, this is interesting here, and this is good that it came up. You notice that one of the ones that were highlighted in pink, we have 2 separate warehouses in our case, and it asks us what warehouse we want to draw from. Okay, so in this particular case, she's gone ahead and selected warehouse instead of dealership, so it avoids us having to do a transfer from our brick and mortar store. And once she clicks that, then she's gone ahead and processed the order. So it moves fairly quickly. We've entered our orders, and now we're into the pulling of the parts for the orders. Okay, and what occurs is that Andy here is our manager, our storeroom manager, and what we've actually, I was going to say we came up with. This was actually an idea that we got from Glenn and other dealers. We're using what's called a bin system. Okay, and what we do is that we'll go in and the system will cue you to what bin is next in line to be pulled. Okay, and what we do is that we go into the program, we select pull next bin, and it assigns a bin number. What we do is that we take a bin label, we take a label like this, take our marker, put that number that Lizzy has assigned to the bin, and then we load the parts into this bin. It checks you to make sure that quantity is correct and the line items are correct. Once you finish, we take our bin, it's complete, we put it underneath, go on to the next selection, or pull next bin, and we do the same process over again. Okay, so let's go ahead and go ahead and pull one so that we can see how it works.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to get around them. Of course, there's not a whole lot of sound here, so.
So what he's done is we went ahead and pulled the part right now. He's marking his label to put on the bin. All right, and he's putting the part in the bin. So we're going to go ahead. He'd go on to the very next bin now, and he'd do the same exact process that you just saw him accomplish. But what we'll do, Andy, let's go ahead and take that bin and take it to our bin staging area, so we can show everyone how it is that it's loaded up. So what we've done is that we went ahead and we've pre-labeled our shelving, our racks in this case, and we have them labeled from number 1 all the way to number 330 with enough spacing here. Actually, 440 is what it is, and this happens to be number 242. So he goes ahead and slides it into bin number 242, and we're done with this process. One thing that we adapted ourselves to is there are some parts that are too large to put in these bins. You notice something like this obviously won't be able to fit in here. What we do is that we put a number label on the part itself, and on the where's it at, 305, and on the bin itself we put 2 labels. All right, that indicates that there's a large part, and the part will be in one of 2 places: directly behind the bin, or it'll be underneath in a large part area. Now this is our shipping staging area here. Okay, so parts from receiving will come here, and parts from that are being pulled come here to this area as well. So twice daily, at least twice daily, what Andy and his group will do is that they'll come and they'll pull the bins out that are ready to ship. We have a report. It's called a bin report, and it tells you which bins are ready to be shipped. They'll pull all the bins, they'll stage them in this area here. Let me show you. This is sort of what it looks like. Okay? And these are taken to our shipping department, and they're placed in front of the shipping area. Each area has a shelf. Right? We do that to consolidate the number, the people walking around, in order to consolidate those steps that they would have to take otherwise. So we place this in front of their shipping area. And the goal is to ship everything that's on those shelves by end of day. So one of the things that we're actually implementing effective tomorrow is that we're calling it the blue bin system. We got a bunch of red bins as you've seen, and what we found was that there are orders that come into us on a daily basis that are complete. Everything that the customer wants is in stock. We can go ahead and ship the item immediately, and we found ourselves pulling those parts and then putting them in our staging area for shipping. So we kind of brainstormed and found that if we go ahead and we took the items and took them directly to shipping without passing through the staging area, we're saving ourselves quite a bit of time. So putting them in blue bins does a couple of things. It alerts the person who's pulling them that in fact there is a difference. He's recognized that the order is complete, and it alerts the shipping department that while the red bins take priority because those are items that the customer's been waiting on, they've been on back order, the blue bins must be processed also by the end of the day. So we're going to have an increase of customers that are receiving the orders sooner, cutting out a day or two in that process for them. So the blue bin process is effective tomorrow, and it's going to really increase the efficiency in that whole process. Okay, so we talked about the staging area for our bins and what kind of parts go in here. What we're doing is we're accumulating parts that are there's a mix. These parts that we pulled from stock, and then we have items that are on special order. Okay, we did not have in stock. We had to transfer from the manufacturer's facility to ours. So what occurs is that the part that our manager Andy just pulled a little while ago, that happens to be one of those scenarios. He's got part that has an order that has multiple parts on it. We only had one in stock, so he's taken the one that's in stock. He's put it in bin 305. Okay, and now the special order items will come in here in a day or two, and once received, and we'll go to that process here in a little bit, those parts will print labels that will show bin 305. So everything is linked on that one invoice. All those parts are linked together, so it'll tell us to put it in bin 305. We'll go ahead, and once that's done, the reports run, as I said, at minimum twice daily for items that are going to be shipped. That box 305 will be pulled, it's staged into the shipping, and then that'll go out that day. So what we're doing here, this is our receiving area. This is our receiving area here, and what Andy's doing, he's gone ahead and we're receiving an order. In this particular case, it's coming from Toro. He's taken all the items that are on the packing list, the purchase order. He's confirmed that they're all there. He's about to go ahead and hit the receive button. And the nice thing about this is that you can do a cursory review of the order and then just receive one time. Once you hit the button, you ready to hit it? Yep. Okay. You'll notice that all the labels here will print in just a second. And there's going to be a combination of labels on this order. It's going to show us a label that is for stock, items that are going to stock, and labels that are for items for customers that have items on special order. Okay, so go ahead and hit that process button. Okay. And print. There are the labels. Thanks, Andy. And as you notice, there's two kinds of labels on here. Okay, you'll notice that this first label, for example, is just it has our company name on it. It has the part number on it, description, and a location that we've had selected in our system. Part's been in that location before, so it's going to be put back into that location. Okay. Then we have a different label here. Okay, which has a dark header on it. Okay. And in that dark header, it indicates immediately to us that this is a customer's part. It's very easy to identify. You can see it from a distance that there's certainly a difference between this and a stock label. Inside the header, it'll tell you that it's for bin 250. It's for the warehouse, so it's on at this location. It also gives you the part number and a description. And right on the top left-hand corner, it gives us the customer's invoice number. So anywhere that this part is at, whether it's on our table here in the receiving area or back in the processing in our processing tables, everyone will know exactly where that part goes. So in this particular case, the part will be labeled. It'll go to bin 250. If the bin is complete, they'll be able to pull the bin probably within in the afternoon's pull for shipping. Once we started working with it, it became very easy. It was there were some things obviously the video you can't learn from the video. You learn as you get on it, but it's fairly simple. I mean, we'll show you the shipping here at the end too, but this entire process becomes very simple. There's no paper involved. We used to print a sheet of paper for every single transaction that we had. That paper would follow the part to the shipping department. It was very cumbersome, and we really have streamlined the operation completely. I mean, there's absolutely very little paper. The only paper that really runs in the facility right now is in this bin right here, which is all our packing lists from our vendors, from all the orders. Those get transferred every day to our accounting department. So that's the only paperwork that we have out here. Even our labels, even our packing lists to our customer now are printed, and you'll see that in a moment. They're printed from a thermal label that we stick on the outside of the box or outside of the package. So there's absolutely no paper flow out here whatsoever. Makes it very, very simple. This is Yusette. He's one of our senior shipping guys here. All right, and Yusette, why don't you grab one of these orders and process it for us so we see how it's done. So what he's doing right now is, as we have our bin numbers on the bins here, he'll go in and he'll select a specific bin to ship, not next bin, but select a specific bin. He'll enter the number. He's going to scan his item in to that. He hits enter, and that's it. This system here prevents any mistakes. If you have 6 items that are going out, you have to scan 6 individual times. So it will not allow you to, it doesn't allow you to put an extra item in there or leave an item off the order. It's very, very simple. So he went ahead and hit enter. It's telling him here that the customer has paid for his order. It's telling him that it's been processed. He'll hit his process button here, okay? And he's going to get 2 labels. Okay. Don't worry about that. Just go ahead and put the box in and put the labels. And we'll pack it in afterwards so you can see the video how the labels come out. And got the labels. We can grab a box. Let's remember. Yes. All right. So what he's doing right now is he's selecting how we're going to ship this. And right now, what we're doing is we're looking at United States Postal Service, and it looks like it's first class mail. One of the things that's being worked on right now, that's in development with the NYSEX group, with Lizzy, is that it's going to show for us, it's 3 carriers. We work with Federal Express, United States Postal Service, and UPS. And what happens is that when we come up to a stage where we're ready to look at how we want to ship it, it's going to give us all the options in each of the 3 carriers, and we'll be able to select the least expensive of the 3 in order to ship our goods. So as you can see here, he went ahead and processed the label for United States Postal Service, and you see the top label is the packing list that it contains the customer's information, order number, and a customer's name and address. And then the bottom one is the United States Postal Service label for processing. And that's the process. It's as simple as that. So it took him and I asked him to pause, but it took him all of, I don't know, maybe a minute to process the transaction. So this allowed us to go from, we were shipping, we had 3 people shipping with our previous operating system, and our numbers were probably at anywhere from an average of maybe 110, 125 packages a day. And now we have the same amount of people. I shouldn't say we have 4 people shipping. Well, three, but then we add 1. So 3 full-time and 1 part-time. And we can ship, we're shipping averages of 220, 230 packages a day. And we have exceeded 300 during a period of a day. So we've become very efficient with the same amount of people with this process. So it's definitely worth its weight in gold.